Hello everyone, my name is Vijo Ayala III,
And my name is Palada.
and
And
now
now we
we're
are
going
going
to
to
discuss
discuss
about
the
the
summary of
summary of
Art Deco.
Art Deco. As you watch this video, you can learn about what is Art Deco, a history of Deco movement, different forms of Art Deco, and late Art Deco, and lastly, the notable Art Deco artists. First, what is Art Deco? Art Deco was an art style that was characterized by vivid colors, enduring geometry that led to extremely luxurious and detailed artworks. A visual arts style that incorporated both elements of architecture and design. Art Deco first appeared in the France just before the start of World War I. However, this movement was only announced to the public in 1925 at the Exposition Internationale des Arts Décoratifs et Industriels Modernes, which was loosely based around the concept of the World's Fair. As it worked to integrate advanced styles with exceptional artistry and decadent materials, Art Deco went on to represent opulence, elegance, vitality, and trust in social and technological progress that occurred in its prime. Inspired by the Cubism and Fauvism, Art Deco presented proportionate and balanced designs in lush and cheerful shapes. Design explored elements of fine art, architecture, fashion, furniture, forms of transport, and ordinary appliances. Despite that, the Art Deco period was an incredibly influential one, with its decorative manner going on to inspire a variety of other artistic styles.
And now we are going to know the history of the Art Deco movement. The Art Deco period was determined to restore France's reputation as a world-class decorative art nation. French creatives were inspired to produce a style of art that would scream tasteful and modern from the rooftops in 1930s and 1940s. This logo, the establishment of the Salon or Société des Artistes Décorateurs in France, who design furniture, interiors, and art, helped raise the respect for art objects. This society helped to slowly expand the definition of art beyond painting and sculpture into the other domains that had not been considered before, such as glassware and jewelry. Eventually, those who created Art Deco works that were not considered to be fine art before were suddenly viewed as artists instead of mere artisans. The polished and streamlined style that was Art Deco grew out a longing and assertive desire to be free of the past and to welcome the future in all of its manufactured and machine-driven brilliance. Art Deco stood in stark contrast to the previous Art Nouveau, which was dominated by nature-inspired art before in the World War I. This celebration of organic shapes differed greatly from the previous clean and the geometric style of Art Nouveau. Additionally, we tackle the history of the Art Deco movement, the Society of Decorative Artists in 1901 to 2000. The French government introduced Art Deco in 1925 at the Exposition Internationale des Arts Décoratifs et Industriels Modernes. The show prompted the official name of the movement, Art Decorates. The French government was incredibly supportive of this style of art and helped encourage the growth of this artistic activity. This society was made up of famous figures in the art world like Eugene Grasset and Art Nouveau architect Hector Grimard. Other building decorative artists and designers also joined this group. One of the major goals of this group was to contest the hierarchical organization of the visual arts that demoted decorative artists to an inferior status when compared to the more traditional painting and sculpting forms. This was because it introduced a new type of decorative art that had formed but was postponed until 1925. On the other hand, the exhibition that formally initiated the start of the Art Deco movement. In 1933, the French government hosted an exhibition that was seen as the beginning of the Art Deco movement. More than 15,000 artists, architects, and designers went on to present their works at the exhibition that ran for 7 months, with over 16 million people from around the world coming to view the individual exhibits.
There are different forms of Art Deco. Art Deco design, furniture, architecture, and building. Each of them I will be going to discuss. First, the Art Deco design. The Art Deco style wielded its impact all over the graphic art of the time. This was done in such a way that the impact of Italian futurism was revealed, as the style's passion for speed and its devotion to the machine could be seen in the works produced. The use of lines to denote movement, made famous by futurist artists, was used by Art Deco creatives in the form of parallel lines and narrowing forms to indicate the concept of balance and streamlining. This was due to the influx of Japanese art into Europe following the First World War. In terms of design's element, Art Deco design elements could be seen in basic forms and huge sections of solid colors. Artists found that the simplicity of these wood block prints mirrored the clearly modern and chic styles that Art Deco was attempting to create. Next is Art Deco furniture. One of the most prominent features of the Art Deco style was the furniture that was produced during its heyday. The avant garden Art Nouveau furniture designs went on to inspire the up-and-coming artists of the 1930s and 1940s. The Art Deco movement, continued by Emile Jacques Rouman, appeared to the forerunner in furniture. His furniture pieces took inspiration from the neoclassical style of the 18th century. He worked to remove as much of the embellishment as possible while still using the luxurious materials preferred by Art Nouveau designers. These materials include mahogany, ebony, ivory, and even turtle, as they were completely out of reach for ordinary individuals. His furniture was only available to the most well-off citizens. Next is Art Deco architecture. Art Deco architecture made its debut in Paris between 1903 and 1904. The clean lines, rectangular forms, and lack of decoration on the facade demonstrate a clear departure from the Art Nouveau style. These two architects worked with reinforced concrete for the very first time in Parisian suburban buildings. Art Deco was the most popular architectural style during the first half of the 20th century. Some of the most famous American examples of Art Deco include skyscraper in New York City and Miami, as well as several pastel-colored buildings in Florida. The buildings created in this style were often rectangular, blockish, and organized geometrically with the addition of curved ornamental features, adding to the sleek effect that was intended. Lastly, the Art Deco building. After World War I, Art Deco buildings began to appear all over large cities in America and Europe. In America, these buildings were typically used for offices, movie theaters, and railroad stations, and government buildings. Some of the most recognizable buildings in America today are from this era. Some of example is the Chrysler Building, was known as the world's tallest building for 11 months until construction on the Empire State Building began. At 77 floors, it was the pinnacle of success for Art Deco architecture. The Chrysler Building, so symbolic was its style of decoration. Triangles around the curved tires adorned the peak of the building, with these shapes being placed in a way that copied the sun gleaming towards a peak. Art Deco gurgles were also featured as ornamentation that closely imitated the hood ornament of a car.
Now I'll be going to discuss the late Art Deco. By 1925, there were two distinct schools French of art, the traditional and the modernist. The traditional has the originally established the Society of Decorative Artists, included furniture designer Emile Jacques Rollman, interior designer Jean Donat, the sculptor Antoine Bordello, and Paul Poirot. This school of Art Deco was known for its combination of advanced forms with conventional techniques and pricey materials. They argue that well-made buildings, for example, should be able to accessible to everyone no matter their financial status, and that form should automatically follow function. The notable Art Deco artists. Many artists participated in the Art Deco movement, ranging from painters, sculptors, interior designs, furniture makers, and architects. And I will be taking a look at several notable creatives who created significant artworks within the Art Deco period. First is René Lalique, is one of the world's most well-known glass and art designers from the late 19th and early 20th century. During his career, Lalique was best known for his beautiful perfume bottles, jewelry, vases, chandeliers, clocks, and car hood ornaments. Lalique quickly became one of the most acclaimed Art Nouveau jewelry designers and went on to work for prominent French jewelers like Cartier and Boucheron. However, of Lalique's most well-known glass sculptures was Victoire, which he created in 1928. This made to be glass hood ornament for a car. Victoire represents a female figure in the wind with her face keenly sticking out and her hair dangling behind her like a single sharp wing. It makes reference the ancient Greek sculpture Winged Victory. Next artist is Emile Jacques Rollman. It is one of the most prominent furniture and interior designers within the Art Deco movement. Was French artist Emile Jacques Rollman. During the movement's height of popularity, he became a symbol of opulence and contemporaneity. The greatest achievement of Rollman's career was said to have been his ability to have merged the classical style of the past with the more advanced style of the modern world. This one example has been made by Emile Jacques Rollman. One of Rollman's notable furniture pieces produced in 1922 was the Etat cabinet, diverging from the typically Art Nouveau style in terms of its symmetry and restricted color palette. Rollman made use of strong wood that contrasted sharply against the intricate ivory design. Despite this, the elaborate floral features borrowed heavily from the Art Nouveau style. And this is the end of our discussion.